You're listening to the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steinler.
All right, welcome back to Keeping Your Money Show. Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by Bart Steinler. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening the whole time, talking about plans for, post-career finances and how, shockingly, an NFL player doing it correctly. And, there's been a couple stories of NFL players. There's a guy, I think, that plays for, I want to say he plays for the Lions. They did an article in, Sports Illustrated or something about same type of thing. He lives, he makes $8 million a year and he lives on $400,000 or something, which I could probably live on $400,000, but it's not the norm when you're making that kind of money.
Right.
We also discussed comparing returns in multiple accounts, why that can be dangerous, automation and sales practices at national companies, how to avoid them and what to look for, and want to remind you, if you miss any part of the show, you can always find it on our website. Just go to keepingyourmoney.com. You can also find it on our podcast partners, iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Just go to the Keeping Your Money Show. Good article saw online the other day about IRAs. They said IRAs have been the ugly duckling of investments. I thought that was kind of funny. Because they have kind of been treated poorly because of, how little you can put into them and,
all the rules.
Yeah. Can you do it now? Well, you made too much. Get it out. Required minimum distributions later and, all these other things. So we thought we would talk about a couple things in regards to this that really can be huge issues if you don't do it correctly. And probably the first one, quite frankly, is just the rollover. If you roll over your IRA to another IRA, maybe you're going to combine them, maybe you're, purchasing a particular security or product or whatever, you really have to make sure it's done correctly. I mean, most likely if you're doing it with an advisor, I would hope it's done correctly, but we see people try to do it themselves. They call the company, they cash it out, well, if you're not doing it the right way, it kind of can put you in a jam and you can end up with penalties and taxes and all kinds of stuff on it if it's not handled correctly.
So there's a indirect transfer and there's a direct transfer. Mm-hmm. And to make things really simple here, don't do the indirect.
Right.
Do the direct.
Right.
Okay. So
if they offer to send you a check in your name and give you the opportunity to then put it back in another IRA, say no, thank you.
Right. That is not what you want to do. So you want one of two things. You either have it so that it gets trustee to trustee. In other words, it's coming from the financial institution that you have it, and you're rolling it over into another IRA at another financial institution. You don't touch it. You have one financial institution send it to another one. And there's paperwork that you sign that will allow that to happen, and you never have to touch the money. The second way, and a lot of times this happens if you're rolling out of your 401k after you leave a position or for another reason, the 401k company will send the check to you, and then you bring it and have it deposited into your new IRA account. Mm-hmm. But if you do that, you want the check made out to the company that is going to house your new IRA account. So you have it made out to, this financial concern for the benefit with your name on it, and have the account number that it's going into on the check. And that way there's no ambiguity about it, and you know that this was designed to be a direct and not an indirect rollover.
Yep. We see a lot of confusion on required minimum distributions, another area where you can make error. Most people kind of have an idea of what the rules are. At 70.5 in qualified accounts, you have to start taking distributions. Those distributions are determined by your age and some calculations that the IRS does. What a lot of people don't realize is these cannot be combined. They can't be aggregated. And what I mean by that is if you have a 401k in an IRA and your spouse has a 401k in an IRA, you can't decide to take all of the distributions for both of your accounts or for you and your spouse out of just one account. So you have to take distributions from unlike accounts, meaning if there's an IRA and a 401k, you have to take required minimum distributions from both of those. If you've rolled the 401k into an IRA, now you can just take one because they're the same tax classification. But if you haven't, you have to take one from each account. Same thing if your spouse is at 70.5, they have to take one out of each account. We have seen many times where people will say, oh, well, we just took all the RMDs this year out of mine since we're on our same tax return. Or, yeah, I took that all out of my 401k to cover all of my different qualified accounts. No, you can't do that. The IRS doesn't agree with that strategy, which is dumb. They really should. It shouldn't matter. But if you do, you can be in big trouble. 50% penalty on the amount you should have taken out.
It's almost like a trap that they set for you.
It is. Everything in the IRS code's a trap.
To me, this is the equivalent of a speed trap when you're going down a 2-lane highway and entering a small town in northern Michigan. You know?
They have a half of a mile where they can get you, and they take it from 65 to 25, and the cop sits there all day long waiting for you. Right? Yeah. See issues with inherited IRAs. I was literally just talking to my friend about this, and he did something that so many times people do. He called me after the fact. Mm-hmm. Right? He called me yesterday to tell me about the check he had just gotten issued from the executor of his mom's estate. Okay? The problem with that is once you've received the check, the damage has been done. Anything you could have done to prevent potential taxes is over. And you might say, well, why is that? Well, if you receive an inherited IRA, it has to be transferred in such a way that you maintain the benefits of the IRA. It can't just be cashed out and sent to you, or you lose all of those tax benefits and you have to immediately pay taxes on that money. You can't just say, well, my dad left me $150,000 in his IRA. I went ahead and cashed that out. Here, I've got a check for you guys. I want to invest it now. Mm-hmm. The only way you can invest that is in non-qualified assets at that point in time, and you're going to have to pay taxes on the distribution on the whole amount.
Here's another a mistake that is important. You need to review on an annual basis who your beneficiaries and contingent beneficiaries are in your IRA accounts. And a lot of people
in all your accounts.
In all your accounts, right. But I've seen this happen too, where people say, okay, we went and saw an attorney and we got a will set up or estate plan or whatever was the right plan for them, and they designated how their money is going to be distributed afterwards. But then they don't take the second step of going to all of their different accounts, including their retirement accounts, and making sure that what the beneficiaries on the beneficiary statement says is the same as what they decided on for their will. So then you have two conflicting sets of instructions. Mm-hmm. Now, according to this article, the beneficiary designation on the accounts trumps what your will says.
Right.
So you've gone to all that trouble to do the planning to make sure that your spouse or your family or whatever or your charities are taken care of, but then you didn't do the second step of going back and changing the beneficiary forms on the different individual accounts.
Right. You've basically just negated, any reason why you did all of that work. The other one we see is people just forget to change beneficiaries, marriage, death, divorce. If you've been married 8 years and your mom is still the beneficiary of your 401k, you might want to look into changing that. Your wife will probably appreciate that. But all right. Well, we're going to come back here in a second, wrap up the show, and send you into the weekend. This is the Keeping Your Money Show.
The ups and downs of a roller coaster are fun for some people, but maybe too nerve-wracking for others. The same is true for the ups and downs of the stock market. If your palms sweat when the market fluctuates, it may be time to reevaluate your investment choices. The ride to your financial future shouldn't keep you awake at night. Call the Keeping Your Money Show at 1-888-98-MONEY to get off the roller coaster and onto solid ground.
This is the Keeping Your Money Show with Jamie Westenbarger and Bart Steinler.
All right, welcome back to Keeping Your Money Show. Jamie Westenbarger, joined as always by Bart Steinler. If you're just tuning in, or maybe you're waiting for the next show, come back an hour earlier next week. What we do here is cover all of the financial information you need to know, skipping all the bulls, the booyahs, the bells, whistles, honks, and horns to get you to the information that actually helps you move towards retirement. If you do not have a strategy for your retirement, this is a great place to start learning about one. This week we talked about how an NFL player planned his post-football finances and what could be learned from that, the dangers of comparing returns in multiple different accounts, national sales company targeting sales and sales pressure on their advisors, where bringing in new accounts has become the focus. We discussed the dangers of some of these national companies concentrating more on sales than they are on service. And then 4 mistakes IRA investors cannot afford to make. I want to remind you, we spoke about it earlier in the day, but we are going to do something we don't normally do, and that is we are going to do some educational seminars, call them town hall, style meetings if you like. This isn't the thing that you get a postcard in the mail for all the time. This isn't come down and let me give you $100 steak and tell you about why you should buy this product or why your investment strategy is completely wrong. This is simply, let's get together. A lot of people have questions. Maybe you don't want to come in for a one-on-one appointment, but you've listened to the show for a while, and maybe you're retired or you're about to retire, and you're trying to figure out how do you convert your portfolio into income? How do you design a retirement income strategy? Maybe you don't understand how Social Security works, and you want more information on that. The idea being Bart and I taking our knowledge and our 20 plus years of experience and saying, let's walk through some of this together, right? Mm-hmm. So it's at Western Michigan University on the Beltline here in Grand Rapids, August 7th and August 9th. We've got 2 dates. If you want more information about it, you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/keepingyourmoney, or you can give us a call, 888-98-MONEY, to either RSVP or find out more information. Seating is limited. There's no cost. We're not going to feed you. We're just going to feed your brain with information and hopefully answer questions that you've been pondering, that you need answers to.
We will have some coffee there.
We will. Coffee and
cookies
maybe. Or something, yeah.
Just so people aren't nodding out on us.
Right. So if you've been listening for years and you hear me at the end of the show say, if you don't have a roadmap for your retirement, you're doing it wrong. This is a great, easy first step to figure out how to get that roadmap for your retirement.
Yep. We look forward to seeing you out there. It'd be great for us because it gives us an opportunity to meet you, the people who've been listening to us on the radio, and put a face and a name and just get to have some personal interaction with you. We would love that. August
7th and 9th, Western Michigan University. More information, give us a call, 888-98-MONEY. All right, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. This has been the Keeping Your Money Show. Thanks for listening. To everyone here at the Keeping Your Money family, Shannon Simon, Dan Van Single, Shane Thorson, Nate Boonster, Grant Hall, Troy Fox, our buddy out on the Lakeshore, Fox Financial, my associate Bart Steinler, our wonderful producer Laura Ridenour. I'm Jamie Westenbarger. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic weekend.
Registered representatives offer securities through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Financial advisors offer advisory services through Securities America Advisors, Inc. Forest Hills Financial, Inc. and Securities America are separate entities.